Hello everybody and thank you for tuning in once again to Podcast Locked In. I'm David Birch, one of your hosts, and I am joined by Jack Keatley.
Hello.
Hello, don't sound too enthusiastic, man. Cool. What we're going to talk about today, it's been a while. We were going to be around for E3, but due to moving, sick babies, sorting out houses, and people being on holiday, it's been a hard job to get everybody back together, but now, hopefully it should be smooth sailing. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about with Gamescom, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah, it's been an
missing, so.
Yeah, good old Xavier Davis. He's eating, and when he's eating, you can't be disturbed. But yeah, but no, it's one thing. I mean, we'll say before we get into Gamescom, I think they're all right. It's definitely a good time to be a gamer now.
Yeah. After September it is anyway. For the past few weeks, it's been quite quiet.
Yeah, it's been lacking on the AAA side of things. I think it's been curse of the early adopter, but now with Destiny on the horizon, there's definitely a light in the end of the tunnel, and obviously the expense of having to buy everything as well.
Yeah, October's probably the best month. There's a lot of games coming out that month. There's Forza, WWE. I think is Dragon Age been put back? Or is that
Dragon Age is still in and around the mix in there, and you got Lords of Mordor, Shadow of Mordor even.
It's quite a bit coming out that month.
And Evolve, of course, got bounced out to 2015 because I think they saw how congested October was and realised, hold on, let's get out of the way of this because we could be the game that people could leave to one side.
There's also Assassin's Creed coming out end of that month.
Yeah, you see, the thing with the Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed with me, I always leave it till it's had at least a couple of stability patches because it's always going to need it. And with the way Unity's got that co-op function, that sort of drop in, drop out on certain missions, and this is Ubisoft's sort of like first, well, from my experience, it's Ubisoft's first time. Yeah, and that's always when it gets a bit ropey, when there's always some problems. So I thought, let a couple of patches, and then maybe pick that up over Christmas. That could be my sort of run. But let's move into the Gamescom news, and we'll try and go in at a level of chronological order of how it happened. On the Monday night, we got the big COD reveal, didn't we? Advanced Warfare, multiplayer, and how all that works. We've got different opinions on this, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not been a COD fan since Black Ops 2. I mean, I've got Ghost and I play it, but I only play that for Extinction, whereas on the other ones, I'm more of a World War fan when it comes to COD, like World at War, Modern Warfare 2, all those of sorts, but I don't like the way it's going with all the futuristic stuff. This one just looks like Titanfall without the mechs. This new one.
Yeah, I do agree that I think that they've definitely adopted some of the best bits out of certain games and gone, right, bang, Sledgehammer have sort of jammed it all into one over the COD sort of gloss and shine, because let's face it, these games aren't cheaply made.
No.
So they've obviously put a lot of stuff in there, and they have cherry picked, in my opinion, some of the best stuff from other games, and the double jump and all that fancy running around rooftops and jumping backwards over people. That's definitely something that we all adopted.
It does look good, but when it comes to Call of Duty, like I say, I just prefer the World War ones. Where it's just like you've got the you don't have all the futuristic stuff with it. I mean, if I wanted to play that sort of game, I'd probably play Halo or Titanfall.
Yeah, I think with me, I was glad to see that the franchise is taking a different turn. You know, they've sort of spruced it up a bit. It's not just charging around maps at 60 frames a second.
One company as well. There's still two other companies that are making the COD game, so hopefully they vary it up a bit and have one making maybe the futuristic ones, one the present, and hopefully the next one does the past, like with World War 1 or 2 or something.
I've got a sneaky feeling that the World War series of games is long gone now. We did have it, I mean, all the way from Medal of Honor when that came back out on the PC and everybody was hyped up for sort of the Normandy beach landing sequences. They did a long run of that. I think that's, I personally think they've moved on, but...
They've not done that on next gen, so it'd be something new to all the younger generation as well. That's only just getting the next gen. Yeah,
very true. And I've got to say, this is when it complicates things for me. If Titanfall hadn't come out at the start of this year and offered those gameplay mechanics that we all play to death, Well, a lot of us we all play it. We all did Gen 10 within owning the game within 6 weeks. We played that game a lot. So I think if I hadn't have done that, and I've really burnt myself out on multiplayer, you know what I mean, team deathmatch, all those type of things, I'm on burnout. So if Titanfall hadn't have come, I'm thinking this would have been the COD that would have brought me back to heavily invest into the franchise. I think, but Titanfall did a lot of damage to me. As much as it's a really good game,
is it came out at a time where there wasn't many games coming out, so that was the only game to play online.
Yeah.
When you play it that much, it just kind of not ruined, but it's kind of, like you say, burnt us out when it comes to online shooters a bit of that sort.
It really did. I mean, it was an XP grind, and then we all found very quickly after like a couple of gens in, all you were doing was really, you weren't playing the game, you were just focused on that one trait.
Challenge.
In order to just boost through it, and I think I just had my fill. So much so, I mean, when I was playing the
challenge. So.
Oh, wow. There was that, and there was things like satchel charges. Well. Yeah, the 50 kills over the gooses. I mean, there was also stuff as well. I played, like, when we played the Destiny beta. If I compare that, I could not. I felt lethargic, I felt old, and I felt bored when I was when playing the Crucible. But then when I found myself flipping back and exploring in the open world, I was completely in my element, and that was for me.
Yeah,
when
I
was talking.
Crucible on that, but it was unbalanced, I think, Destiny. But we could probably talk about that later or something.
Yeah, it was. I said it to Soph because she watched me playing it, and she was like, "You are just not on it with this, are you?" And I was like, "I just can't feel like the combative side of online games anymore." I think where it sort of sits with me is I like my racing games and the co-op side of things, but competitive shooting, I think that's gone. But we'll come across Halo.
Halo with me.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll come across that back with Halo, but we digress away from COD. I mean, it did look very interesting. Graphically, it looked very nice.
Yeah, it looks amazing graphically.
I like the environmental stuff where you saw like the tidal wave in San Francisco and other destructible elements on the other maps. I like that idea. I think if they implement that correctly, it could be good. I suspect it'll be some sort of form of kill streak thing. You've got to do certain things to get to a certain point to activate it. But as we've said before with these type of games, it's like when you play Battlefield. Was it Battlefield 4 with that skyscraper coming down? After a while, how many times had you seen that skyscraper fall over, or how many times have you seen the dam break? It's good for a while, but then all it does is you read the game. Yeah, and you just learn to dodge the odd boulder here and there, or just double jump at the right time to bounce over a wave or something.
Another thing I have about this COD is that a lot of my COD friends who only like play COD and FIFA, like on MLG sites and that, and game battles, shall I say, they used to always like say, "Oh, I don't like Halo because of all the jumping," and a lot of my friends don't like this new COD because they're jumping with it. That's one thing they don't like. A lot of my friends who play that, and I have to agree with them when it comes to jumping on COD. I just think they should stay with this sprinting and leave it as that.
Yeah, I think I did see a bit of a consensus pop up from some of the more hardcore, where they were saying it was very much a ground-based game, and you were just literally running around and shooting. Now it's added this aerial element to it, so quite a few people aren't impressed. But then there's the other side of things, like the great one, Xavier Davis, who's not here today. He was actually clapping that presentation. He saw that much. He was there, wasn't he? We watched it together. There was that much. He saw that much innovation in the game. It had refreshed him because he thought COD Ghost was a bit of a letdown in his opinion. It's the lowest prestige that he's been through. Go on, sorry.
I said I didn't mind COD Ghost. I thought it was quite good. I think it like went back to a bit more of a Modern Warfare freestyle.
Yeah.
Type of game. Like it's not too futuristic, and it's not. Well, it's not World War, which like I said earlier, I prefer. I prefer the World War and maybe the modern types, but yeah, I thought COD Ghost was a good one. A lot of people don't think that way. I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah, I mean, we can also tie in as well in saying that there's a special edition white Xbox coming out with COD that you come with the game. I think it's the season pass, and it has a terabyte hard drive in there as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely a sign of things to come.
Like 430, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely paying for that extra 500 gig, but it's definitely a sign of things to
I
come that
think
there's
you're
a
paying
big
for the
hard drive
design,
out there.
because you can get terabyte hard drives for less than that as well, for less than the
Yeah.
X pound you're paying. So I think it'll be I think they're paying for the design of the console, because a lot of people on Twitter have been saying they want that just for the console design.
Yeah, which will probably come back around again at some point as a vinyl, because I've seen vinyls now where you can buy stuff from. There's a big
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
UK retailer Game. I'll plug them because they've been good to me and they've helped us out with stuff that I've needed to get my hands on. You can actually go on their website now and design stickers for your control pads and your consoles. You design them online and they ship them to you, and it's only £10.
I didn't actually know that. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Should
Yeah,
tell
you
that out
did.
sooner.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I think I think it's past the beta stage now, but yeah, when I was actually, my friend who's one of the area managers managed to give me the heads up on it. But yeah, we digress away from that one. But yeah, COD all in all, we're split on it. I say that would have been the COD that would have brought me back if it hadn't have been for Titanfall
Yeah.
destroying
Won't
my
be a
love
bad
for
game.
competitive.
I
Yeah,
don't
but you
think
said
it'll be a
yourself
bad
you're going to
game,
be.
but it's just not my game.
Yeah, well,
Game I
it's
want
plus
right
you've
now.
got Halo. You've got your Halo coming, haven't you?
Yeah.
And flipping over from Halo, we'll move on to the Xbox conference. Overall, I was quite impressed with what they did, even though there's a bit of a controversy in there, weren't there?
Yeah. That's it probably stole the thunder of everything else, didn't it? The Tomb Raider.
It did, yeah. Yeah, the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider will be an exclusive to Xbox One holiday 2015. My oh my, were people happy when they heard that. I'm being sarcastic for one side of the fence and literal for the other. Yeah, so,
I think
my
people went
take
a
on
bit
this.
too far with the death threats and all that. I think that's stupid. I don't think you should do that. Well, no one should do that, but people should
Yes.
be ashamed of themselves for doing that.
Well, Twitter and Facebook is giving power to stupidity, isn't it, and threats and things like that. I mean, I was... Go on, sorry.
Even the actress, who has nothing to do with what console it comes on, she was getting threats and everything, and some of them are just probably too sick to even mention on here.
Yeah, it's not on, but that's just the world we live in. We're just mass stupidity. There's no need for that. Gaming is business. Let me just run with this on here, Katie. Let me just say what I'm going to say with this bit. Gaming is business, right? There is no way Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony are actually out there to hold your hand or wipe your ass and be that nice to you. All three of them want your money. They're multinational corporations that are all about profit and the bottom line. That's as simply as it is. One's got for the gamers. Xbox is the one place where you go to do everything. Nintendo is that family console that you grew up with, and now your kids should be playing it. And then there's elements of the games that keep all the adults playing it as well. The deal with Square Enix and Microsoft is as simple as this. People have short memories. When the original Tomb Raider came out, it sold 6 million units. Granted, the majority of those were on PlayStation, but Square Enix publicly said Crystal Dynamics did a great job making the game. Unfortunately, 6 million units did not meet their expectations for sales, which obviously put the question of a sequel up in the air very, very quickly. They were quite openly saying that. The first quarter sales were that bad.
Yeah.
Then we get the definitive edition is mentioned and bought out. Now that was as simple as they just ran the game through the same process they did to bring it to PC when it was put on Steam, and then they just thought, well, we can port over to consoles and hope people buy it. Now I'm pretty sure that was about £50 again, wasn't it? It was a full price game when it came out.
I think it was about 35.
I probably got stiff then by the looks of it, but yeah, it still was quite an expensive title to go back and play, and a lot of people that played it on the last gen or PC, you know, that had a new gen console, again because of lack of games, went out and bought it, and it sold well. You know, it sold another few million units that probably brought it expectations up to square, but if you look at what they had to do in order to get to an expectation level, a definitive edition, console release and a PC release, and still not happy. Phil Spencer, who's now taken over from Xbox, clearly saw this and has been given a lot of operational cash to try and secure and grow the business of the Xbox One. He's obviously gone to Square Enix, convinced them to continue making a sequel, and part-funded it and put Microsoft money into that, on the pretense that it is, of course, either a timed exclusive or, as we found out quite recently, it's being co-published now by Square and Microsoft. So that has been done to secure unit sales and have it come out primarily on the Xbox One to keep the fan base over. And there's another side to this as well. I'm going deeper with this one. Uncharted is pretty much due, from what we gather, at fall 2015, in the autumn next year, which will still be selling through at Christmas. It'll be moving PS4s. If Square Enix had an idea they were going to be doing the Tomb Raider sequel, and that was their projected launch, and they were sort of teetering around in early development stages were on, that could have been the point when they realised, hold on, Tomb Raider sells more on PlayStation, a game which is very similar, I don't care what you say, Uncharted is a very similar game to the Tomb Raider series. If they're going to be launching within the same window, within that same quarter, Tomb Raider's had it essentially on PlayStation, because Uncharted is going to sell a gazillion units because there's a lot of fans of that franchise. If they then get a golden handshake from Microsoft to co-publish, so they have half the risk of actually developing a title and are only exposing it to an Xbox audience, and when they say timed exclusive, Phil Spencer said it will go the similar way to the way Rise and Dead Rising did, and they have only moved over to PC, so they'll hit Steam at some point. And it's a simple business transaction. But it might have affected the Tomb Raider franchise, because everybody with a PS4 is going to say, well, I'm not going to ever play it again. And then if the third one comes out, if it's successful, the second one it'll probably hit the PS4 at that point, because I can't imagine Microsoft buying in to a franchise, because they've said they move their money on a strategic basis, on a case-by-case basis. Remember, Titanfall 2, openly talked about by Respawn as being a multi-platform release if it comes out. You know, the Microsoft are in for this one run, assisting Square Enix, because Square aren't exactly the richest company either at the moment. They've had their problems, and they've lost. And of course, Sony. I think Sony selling their shares in them probably helped them make that deal with Microsoft a little bit easier. You know, I could go on and rant about this all the time, but this is business. This is consoles. They do not sit around in the Microsoft boardroom thinking about how they can be as nice to you as possible. They have strategists, and the same as Sony, working out how can they be as nice as you as possible with squeezing you for every single penny. You know? You essentially rubbed with the games for gold, and you rubbed as well with the Xbox Live games as well. That's how it, the free Xbox Live games. That's how this business works. There's a downside agreement on those annual subscriptions. Everybody gets a slice. You know, this is business. There's no need to be haters as well. And now I'll bring you back in, Kid, after I got that rant out, 'cause I'm slightly out of breath with that one. But we both agreed on something here. It went to Microsoft. The PS4 and the Sony fans went fucking ballistic. Hate for everybody, death threats and everything else because they went to Microsoft. Now, if we flip ahead slightly, there's a lot of games that are coming out from indie producers that have been signed to Sony for their game to come out exclusively on PS4. Out of an exclusivity deal, who's going to get hurt more? An indie developer just on PS4 or Square Enix just on the Xbox? An indie developer not being able to sell on multiple platforms will be affected more by an exclusivity deal. But unfortunately, that isn't noticed. There's a lot of online hate for no reason, and we both spotted it, didn't we, like you were saying?
Yeah.
I think it's the online hatred's got a bit too far. If you can't afford all the consoles, that's fine. Pick one, but you've got to live with it. I heard somebody make a great analogy the other day. When it was only SNES and the Sega systems out there, a lot of games didn't appear on both. But when you were a kid, you had that one console and you just lived with it. You know, you had the games that you had and you couldn't afford the other console.
A lot of people as well seem to forget that Sony are one of the reasons Dreamcast probably went bust.
Yeah.
From buying up all the exclusive stuff on... Like, Sony even bought Tomb Raider from 97 to 2000, so it wouldn't go on the Nintendo.
Yeah, I know they originally locked them up in a deal, yeah.
They also
back when it was
bought Soul
IDOS.
Calibur 3, even though it was on... 1 and 2 was on Xbox One, I think it was, original. Sorry, not Xbox One. and it may have been which else was it on? It may have been GameCube as well. It was on, but it was on PS2, Xbox original, and GameCube, the first two, and then the third one came out on PlayStation only. So it's not the first time this has happened, and Sony aren't as innocent as what people like to make out.
Yeah, because people forget that people, like I say, casually forget, that this is actually a business. Don Matrick has left Xbox. They're not a giant evil corporation, but the thing is, you got to remember, I've said it before, they're a very rich corporation that's backed into a corner with a 2-to-1 sales ratio behind the PS4. They are going to spend their way out of this. It's like a Premiership football team, not doing so great, throw money at it, buy some decent players, and then you go and win the league. You got to be kept mindful of that. I mean, if we run through some of the other stuff here with the Sony, with the Xbox, they're expanding into 29 new markets from September 2nd, which is obviously going to see a substantial boost in sales. Primarily, I think a lot of those territories are within the Europe region as well, which is good. Various new bundle deals are there, but FIFA 15 with exclusive content. I know you're the FIFA guy on this team. What did you think about the FIFA stuff they were talking about?
Yeah, well, if you are a FIFA fan, which most people in Europe are, then yeah, Xbox is the one to get, obviously, because there's the Legends that are only coming out on Xbox One and 360, which, if you love Ultimate Team, which a lot of people do as well, you want all the best players, and the Legends are some of the best players you can get on that. So
yeah,
if you play FIFA online, then Xbox is basically the console to get, in my opinion.
I mean, we'll flip it over, but it seems like PES has tied its flag to the PlayStation brand as well, so they've kind of got a football game each at the moment.
Yeah.
And people like them for different reasons. I was saying about with FIFA as well, because obviously it's a big game, so people want to chat about it. You've seen some of the footage of people playing it. You had some complaints about the last FIFA 14. Does it look any different to you? Have they tweaked anything about it?
Well, the video I watched of it from the gameplay, I don't know if it was speeded up or not. Some people are saying the video has been speeded up, some people saying it hasn't, so I'm unsure about that. But from what I can see of it, it's still got the overpowered chip through balls, which the last FIFA 14 had, where basically you just hold a button in, press your Y, you're through on goal. That's still in there from what I can see. The pace just seems extremely fast again, but like I say, it could have been speeded up on the video, I'm not sure. And the only issue I have with FIFA is the servers. Really, well, mainly.
I think that's an inherent EA issue. I mean, I'll quickly jump across when they were talking about their Battlefield Hardline. One thing they actually said, that game's been delayed, and one of the hints are like fun, enjoyable, big team battle, and stable. They actually said the word stable while they were pressing that. So EA definitely know about their servers. But yeah, carry on, sorry.
Believe it. Yeah, FIFA 14, the servers just wasn't great at all, especially when the console first came out, where you be playing games, you win games, and it says connection lost to the server and you get the loss for it. It's just, again, it was a joke, to be honest, with that game at the beginning when the console first came out, but now it's steadied up a bit. The servers do go down a bit, and when you're playing people who haven't got the best connections, you get lag all the time. You play a foreigner and the game just seems really unresponsive, so hopefully they can sort the servers out. It's alright having corner flags that move and crossbars that ping and sway when you hit them.
And emotional players.
No one really cares about that too much. People want it to be steady online, they want it to be stable. They don't want... We don't... Like... Well, this is just my opinion anyway. We don't need the goal line technology on FIFA, what they're bringing into it. It's just going to slow the game down as well, Darius. Like you have a shot.
What, an extra cutscene when the ball bounces over the line like they showed in the World Cup.
Yeah, but this is even if the ball doesn't bounce over the line. The ball could have like nearly gone over the line. It'll stop the game. Show goal line technology. If it don't go over the line, then the gameplay just carries on. So it's like that moment where someone's through on goal and they pause it, and it kind of puts everyone off, and you don't know what's going off after that. So I think a lot of people are going to get angry with that, the goal line thing. I can't see that being the FIFA after. And but yeah, being a FIFA fan myself, all I want to see is better servers. I don't mind FIFA 14 as long as the chip through balls aren't overpowered, and the servers are fine. That's all I want.
When you can lay your hands on the legendary players in your ultimate team at a relatively decent
they're
cost.
extremely hard to get, but there is people out there that do have them, and there is ways to get them. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably a game I won't be playing Agent with a copy just so the kids in the family can have a blast. But yeah, I mean, moving on as well. Evolve announced that there will be a beta coming to Xbox. I believe that is that around Christmas time? I think my notes ran out at that point. But I know Evolve has got its exclusive beta is only on Xbox One. I do believe that's what they said, but I think with Evolve moving to February, that was a good call to get it out of the way of the October chaos. And I think they took a leaf out of Destiny's book, because we all said it. A lot of us were excited about Destiny, but there wasn't a lot of chatter about it until they had the alpha at E3, and then the open beta. Everybody's talking about Destiny now, and the pre-orders have clearly gone through the roof. I think the guys at Evolve.
4 times. 3 times.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? All sorts of different characters.
But yeah, it's gonna be 4 times when the game comes out. It's gonna be 4 times I've played the first 6 story missions. So I'm just.
But it's sign of a good game that you can continue to go back and do that. That's what I say. And I think Evolve are confident with, when you look at some of the stuff that people are saying at Gamescom and when they've actually had a go of it on some of the show floors, everybody that's touched it has said it's a great game. Everybody needs to see how good that is. It's a reimagining of competitive multiplayer, which is a good thing for me at this moment in time. And a beta, I think, will just create hype if it's stable, because it's 2K as well. And I don't think I've had a problem with their servers. Admittedly, the last NBA 2K game had some problems online, but they got that resolved. I think it could be quite good.
The only issue I have with Evolve is I don't know if it'd keep me coming back to it after the first few weeks. It looks like one of those Call of Duty style, like how they have extinction mode and zombies. It just looks like one of those type of game modes where it's going to be fun for a few weeks. But after that, it needs a lot of content put into it, updating every couple of months or DLCs or something for it to keep it fresh. I don't know if I'd play that after the first few weeks of getting it very often.
But you got to remember that you say that, but a lot of the games that we all play collectively in our little ecosystem, they only last a few weeks. There's very few that can be sat there to come back and play.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got in my collection at the moment that keeps doing that with me on my Xbox One is Forza. You know, that's the type of thing. But it's definitely one of those games, though. It's worth a look. It's the first time that I think people are doing something different. The idea of one person being the monster and 4 mates trying to have it. Yeah, it's just interesting idea. Let's just see how it develops. And another beta which is out on October 16th is Fable Legends. Now, now you can't wait for it. That's because I was going to say, during the course of that, you went from when you originally saw it to you can't wait for it. So what changed then?
I don't know actually.
Because I wanted to know, because you were dead against it at one point, because it wasn't going to be.
I had my heart set on Fable 4 when it first announced. And I thought, I don't know if I'll be able to get into this game, this new one, because it's just like one person playing the enemy. It's a bit like Evolve, one person the bad guy, a few people running around. But the more I see of it, the more gameplay of people actually in the booths playing it, it's starting to look rather good. I can't wait to get. The reason I want to play the beta is because then I'll definitely make my mind up whether I want it or not.
Yeah.
After I play it.
See, I like the idea of it. I like the hokey feel. I mean, Molyneux's obviously not behind it. No, he's left. So it'll be interesting how they went, because Fable 3 for me was a bit of a letdown. The second one's still my favourite in the franchise, favourite in the series. So I'm curious to see what they've done.
3 of them, but they seem to be getting like a little bit stale as they went on. I mean, 2 was good, shall I say, but the third one I don't know, it just didn't seem to have the real Fable aspect of it anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to give that one a look. The jury's out for me on that one. in my honest opinion, because I was hoping for like a fourth story, wandering around Albion doing whatever needed to be done, sort of a competitive element.
Eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, I think they will. But in all honesty, I'll probably end up buying it. We always do. And
Yeah,
this, I'll move over to the next bit is ID at Xbox. All I say about that is there was a lot of indie games coming from all the different Flash images. I mean, we picked one apiece. You picked Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah,
and
is
for
that
me,
an indie game or is it classed as an indie game? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure now we're saying all that because see, this is what happens when you scribble down notes like crazy. But so this looks like it's going to be a downloadable game, Ori and the Blind Forest. That was definitely your pick because you were boosted on that from the moment you saw it at E3, weren't you?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot. Well, it basically is Child of Light, really, isn't it? The same sort of aspect to it.
Yeah,
And I
lots
really enjoy
lots of
Child of
stuff going on. Sorry if anybody can hear my daughter in the background. She's being cared for, but I'm filming this in recording this in the back of my house.
I mean, it even had that like white. I'm sure I've seen like a white orb, like there was in Child of Light as well in Ori in the Blind Forest, that you can control with a thumbstick. So, I think if it's anything like Child of Light, then I'm definitely getting it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one I'm going to be picking up. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it and the mood and the way the music played out. That was definitely the thing for me. But the one that stood out for me mainly was Space Engineers, described as Minecraft in space, building spaceships and flying around. Oh yeah, I'll be down with that. The amount of hours I've put into Minecraft, and obviously now we're hearing Minecraft's got quite a lot of bugs for the Xbox systems that are still being ironed out. Hopefully Space Engineers comes quite quickly so I can get my hands on it and start building spaceships and then flying after people that I know will be buying that game.
Not me.
But yeah, not you. But
unless Damon is getting it, we can team up.
Yeah, blow him up. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
But all in that, there was a lot of stuff in that ID at Xbox, but I think I'm going to wait for that to flesh out a bit. I need to see more of some of those games.
There was one game that I really liked the look of on PlayStation called Wild. I thought that game looked really good. It's really my sort of game where it's, I think you basically like some sort of caveman or something.
Yeah, that's the AAA game.
If you're listening to, is it a AAA game?
I believe so. You're kind of killing the whole PlayStation link that we're going to jump onto in a bit though, so I'm sure we can come back to that one.
We'll leave that one to...
Yeah, bloody hopscotch with the show notes. But the last part of Xbox was Forza. Forza 5 had a patch on it which gave you the new Formula E car, Rolls-Royce and a couple of other bits and pieces for free at the time of that announcement, which was good for somebody like me, even though that Formula E car handles to the point of frustration, but I'm not getting into that. But then they talked about Forza Horizon 2. Again, every Forza fan seems to be on the fence about, just like they were the last one, but I generally stand by. Most people tend to buy it anyway, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to be buying that. I'm not a huge racing fan, as you probably know, but the Forza games I always seem to pick up. I do enjoy those.
Yeah, well, if you're not a huge racing fan, let's put it that way. When we had a full grid of all of our friends, it was only ever you and me battling out for the top spot, leaving everybody behind for miles. So yeah, you made everybody else look stupid with that comment.
Xavier Davis rolling down the street, rolling down the start.
Yeah. Xavier Davis, we know you're not here, but you drove that badly. Even your driver car couldn't keep on the track. Enough said about that. But we'll close off the Xbox Phil with, we got a bit of a taste of Halo, didn't we? Halo 5 Guardians.
Said it a few times, but I can't wait for that either. That is one game that's probably the only game I'm interested in, to be honest, this year.
Halo 5?
Yeah.
That's not until next
Halo
year.
Master Chief Edition, sorry.
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection, obviously November 11th. When you buy that, you get access to the beta for Halo Guardians, which will be running for 3 weeks over Christmas, I believe. Well, at the back end of Christmas.
Yeah, I think it's 29th till 17th or something like that.
29th of December to 17th of Jan.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think it's going to be good because it looks like they've gone back to basics. They've stripped out loadouts. It looks like it's back to arena-based. You've got very limited access on how you pick your loadouts.
It's like basically 4 versus 4 now.
There'll be a big team battle in there without a doubt.
Yeah, but I think the main part of the game is going to be the 4-on-4, the development of it. I think they're going to just concentrate on that mostly.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with Halo 3, and everyone loved playing that online.
Yeah. And another interesting point as well we could talk about with Halo and Master Chief Collection is that the ranking system for all 4 of those online games and all 100 maps that are shipped with it, it's the Halo 2 True Skill ranking system. So it's no longer, your rank will no longer be defined by how long you've been playing a game, it will be defined about how good you are at it, which I think a lot more games should adopt. So you were happy to see that as well.
This, didn't we? With Damo as well.
Yeah, I mean, a few of our friends have said they prefer like an XP bar that moves to show their prestige of how long they've been playing. See, for me, that's not a challenge. No sounding big-headedness. I find a lot of time to play games. I don't sleep much. So if I want to beat somebody's rank, it's just a question of I just stay up an extra couple of hours and I beat you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have any dramatic effect because people's KD averages and stuff like that are all buried in their own stats. It's quite hard to see.
I mean, the thing with Halo, I enjoy the competitive side of that, and I enjoy trying to get to the highest rank on that, especially with Halo 3. Halo 4 kind of took you away from that. It was like more Call of Duty based, where you get rewarded for how long you've played, whereas Halo 3 was basically you just got to be good at the game to get the highest rank. There was still a XP grind in there a little bit to get the general. You had to play so many games, but to show people how good you were, you probably had to play about 50 games or something and win most of them.
Yeah. That was it. Halo 4 was a good game, but it did turn in again. It was one of those XP grinds because you do find yourself, I don't care who you are, you get hooked on seeing that number go up whether you like it or not, because it's all you've got presented in front of you, so therefore it becomes your only challenge. But if you've got to play a better game, and the only way to move your rank is to have a good game, you're not just going to charge in there like balls of fury just to try and steal a flag endlessly. And
the thing with True Skill as well, it makes people try and play the best because they know if they do bad, just the True Skill rank is going to go down.
Yeah.
So you don't just get an XP out of the game. It actually makes everyone try and play the best. So you ain't got no people that's going to go in there and, well, you might get people that go in there and troll, but most people that's going to be on Halo game with True Skill is going to be going for the rank.
Exactly, as well. And there was, another thing on the side of that as well. What's going to be launched around the time of this collection is going to be the Halo channel as well.
Yeah.
I'm fully bought. I was fully bought into that because that's how we're going to access the Halo Nightfall, isn't it? Live action TV series. It was.
To be honest, I'm not sure what difference it is to Halo Waypoint.
It's Halo Waypoint being relaunched as the Halo channel, and it'll be an app available on Xbox, and you'll be able to launch that through the game as well as launch it as an app basis as well. So
I'm really looking forward to it, even though it's not a game. I'm really looking forward to the Nightfall series as well. I mean, when you think about it, people
that's how you access it through there as well.
Yeah, people saying like Microsoft are all after your money, but when you think about it, 4 really good games, a beta, and access to a series as well, which is probably going to be like Forward Unto Dawn, where it's 5-minute series, is it 20 minutes long or something?
I don't know. I think these are quite long. I think it's been quite heavily serialised. Yeah. You are getting your value for money, I suppose, considering that is inclusive of your Xbox Live Gold subscription, 4 games, 100 maps, all redone, access to the beta. I mean, Microsoft definitely know that is one of their most appealing IPs that they've got. In my opinion, it's one of my favourites, and they're definitely doing fan service there. They're keeping people very interested.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the Halo channel will be launching November 11th as well, and when the Halo Master Chief Collection launches as well. So now we'll flip over to PlayStation Conference. Another decent conference, in my opinion. I mean, we'll go with they opened immediately by... well, some parts are quite amusing. They immediately opened with the announcement of 10 million units sold through to customers, which is a very good achievement. It means it's one of the fastest selling consoles of all time. Very, very good. But yeah, one thing I will say about them is their presenters. My God, their voice is about as interesting as mine. You know what I mean, with the monotone type of thing going on over there. But other than that, they went straight for what people thought they were going to go for, which was going to be heavy investment in the indies. I think that was what we were all expecting, and that is definitely what we got. I mean, if we pluck out the things like the Destinies, the Far Cries, Shadow of Mordor, and the Metal Gear Solid, a lot of stuff in there is essentially indie games. And there's a lot of them announced. You can't say there's not a lot to play on year-round PlayStation.
A few other games as well, though. There was the Silent Hill that was being announced as well.
Yeah.
And what I can't think what the other game was called, but I mentioned to you it looked a bit like the movie Cabin in the Woods. And I can't think what the game was called now. It's escaped me.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, that's still on.
Yeah.
I thought that looked rather good as well.
That was it. I mean, they had a solid conference. I mean, they can't get my throat clear now. I think we go for like the start off at the top end with the AAA stuff. And Destiny is now the fastest selling new IP pre-order of all time, which is fair enough, like we were saying before. And that flag has been tied onto the PS4, which is great. I just remind people as well with this, Activision owns Bungie, which is developing Destiny. Activision owns multiple studios, Sledgehammer in this instance, which is making Call of Duty. Both of those games are going to be massive. What Activision have done is a very clever business move by doubling down and putting one on one and one on the other. Yeah. So if they both sell spectacular amounts on either, they are quids in for at least a couple of billion out of these couple of games. But essentially,
two of the biggest games this year, aren't they? So it's probably
hands down. Everybody keeps saying is Destiny going to sell out Call of Duty. Well, if it does, Activision's going to be loaded because both those games are going to sell an epic amount. But I'm going to just point out, other than time DLC on both, these games are essentially both the same on both of the machines as well. But like I said, Destiny's flag firmly planted over there and definitely got my excitement up. The other ones to pick out, an interesting thing that we'll highlight here was DayZ.
Yeah,
in 3 years on console. Yeah, do you want to run through that one
then? If I can remember it all. Yeah, they basically said within 3 years it'll be on a console, which you were just about to say then. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it'll be on Xbox One as well, I'm not sure, but they have said in the past that it'll be on both consoles, multi-platform, so hopefully it does come to Xbox One as well, because that's where most of my friends that play that game are stationed at the minute.
I mean, yeah, the fact that it's at least 3 years away, I mean, the guy said on stage, didn't he, within 3 years, tells me that this is fresher than fresh about getting this started and bringing this over. It's not, essentially it was an add-on for Armour that developed that well. They made it, they bought part of the engine, they made it independent. It's been on early access for like 20 quid on Steam. It's been selling really well there. They're clearly onto something. That it's a genre that people are enjoying and like playing with their friends. It seems like a logical move to try and bring this over to consoles.
I think it was.
Go on.
Sorry, carry on.
No, it's a very early shout. Advance of 3 years coming, considering they've got H1Z1 in the pipeline over at Sony Studios as well. But it doesn't mean that you can't have multiple zombie survival games on one console without them being favourites or whatever. It's better to have more choice than not. So, be interested to see how that runs through.
But like I was just going to say, if it is only exclusive to PlayStation 4, and they have got H1Z1 coming out, then they could be up competing against each other, which I don't think would be a good move for them. Because people are probably, I can't see either of them selling too well if that happens. People just go one or the other. That's that similar.
I got a feeling that the way H1Z1 will be built from the ground up though, for Sony products. Whereas DayZ, like I said, is originally an add-on for another game, then rebuilt on that engine and brought through. There's going to be a lot of differences on how those two games perform, so it'll just be a question of choice. DayZ is one of those elusive games to people unless you've got a good enough PC to run it, and then you have the option to have a look at it on consoles. I think that's why it will sell.
mean, I played it on PC and loved it, but didn't have many friends that played it on there, so it kind of got a little bit lonely.
Yeah,
So,
goes a bit stale when you got no one to play with.
30 zombies at the bottom and you got no one to distract them. Kind of.
Yeah, we'll jump away from the DayZ thing. Look, it's going to be a good game. It's within 3 years. I think H1Z1 will be out before then. But we'll go into a bit of the tech side. We'll talk about it. Pass the controller coming in update 2.0 for the PS4. So if you're really bad at a level in a game, you can press a button and your mate can do it for you without them having to own the game.
I think that's stupid.
That is something. There is one person I know out of all my gaming friends that will get me to do that, and I won't mention his name because I haven't got his permission. But all I'll say is he could not defeat the last boss in the Defiance MMO. He will be a person that will text the life out of me. He'll phone me. He'll jump into parties to try and get me to do levels for him because of that pass the controller. That is a nightmare waiting to happen for people. I think it's maybe a good idea in principle, you know, because I know you'll be able to play like the thing you can do with Far Cry. You can hand out the passes, so if you own the game, you can bring a friend into the co-op experience and they don't even have to own it. That's great. That type of stuff's good. Passing the controller to that so somebody else can do the work for you. It's not a feature I'd use, let's put it that way. No. I wouldn't use it.
Because I like the satisfaction of achieving something that I've actually achieved myself when it comes to Xbox, like with achievements.
Yeah.
Like especially with the Tomb Raider game beginning of this year, when I must have spent like 3 hours straight just trying to get one achievement, even though that's probably nothing compared to what some people do for achievements. But it's
yeah, you wanted to do
it. Once you get that achievement of doing it, you just the satisfaction of it just is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those.
A bit like the Rooster challenge on Titanfall.
Wow. Yeah, that remind me. I start sweating already and getting cross. The plastic controller might service some people out there, but for me, I really can't see myself using that. It'd be an annoyance to be asked, I think, with that. That's what would bother me. I mean, I heard somebody else say on one of the other shows that I have a little bit of input with, saying fastest thing he's going to do is disable that feature on his machine. But he said it probably serves a purpose with the more casual gamers, the people that just sort of get ad hoc and might get stuck. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for anybody either. It'd be tough. I could see if that came over to racing games, here, tune my car for me. Those type of problems would
Especially
appear.
games with leaderboards as well. It's basically just conning the leaderboard slightly. It's not actually that's done that.
Unless, of course, they say it might be so you can get past a level. Maybe it locks out the trophies, don't pop, or again, you can't alter leaderboards. I can't suspect that you can pass the controller for an online game, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that maybe. I'm opening.
Yeah, because people. I mean, I'm not that I'm going to start putting this idea out there, but if you can do that, I will start selling my services. If you want to get your wins up on certain racing games, I'll do that. £50 a win, etc. And the other bit of hardware stuff they were talking about was PlayStation TV was launching for €99. Seems quite expensive to me.
Yeah, it's I just find it funny that when Xbox announced TV, everyone went mad. PlayStation doing, you see tweets saying, "Oh, this is amazing." It's just double standards, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to sound anti-PlayStation because I own both consoles and I do love the PlayStation, but when people slate one console for not being for the games and the other console does exactly the same thing with the TV and everyone's praising it, I just think it reeks of double standards.
Yeah, there is an element of that. I mean, the one good thing about the PlayStation TV is if it's hooked up to a different TV, you'll be able to stream your PS4 through it, similar to the remote play on a different TV in the house with the PC, the PS4 downstairs. That's good, but if you got the Vita, you got remote play.
Is it worth €90?
€99. I noticed there was no pounds in there as well, and I don't think they mentioned anything about like a British release date. But hey,
Well, if it'll probably be the same in pounds. It's always seems to be dearer in pounds than it is for anywhere else.
that's what happens when you get a strong currency. Always works like that. Drive Club. That created some interesting stirs, especially arguing with some of the people that we know. Drive Club is a social experience where if winning is a problem for you, other people within your club can win for you and win rewards and access to cars. Holy shit, did that put me off as a driving fan. That, right,
Also
I've got
quite the conversation.
Yeah, it's, yeah, miscommunication to say the least. Now that, to me, now I've got a lot of people that I have in friends categories on various different machines that I play on. Specifically, I'm an online racer. I'm the type of guy that has a Gran Turismo game or a Forza game and wants to own every car or multiple versions with different tune setups, so I can pick something to trump what somebody else has got on a grid. I play that a lot. That is my thing. Those people that I play those racing games with, the way Drive Club was sold did not appeal to any of them whatsoever. The thought of having a club where everybody's pally-pally and you're racing against another club doesn't work. You want to race against your friends.
I
want
I
to...
joke to you as well. Sorry,
No,
carry on.
I was just... Yeah, go on, sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, I joked to you about it as well the other day, saying I'll let you buy the game, and then after a week or so I'll get it and let me know when you've unlocked all the cars.
Yeah, exactly, and then there's a nice fat garage locked up in there. I mean, Forza 4 had that in. There was a garage in there that you could share with your club, so everybody could dip in and go in. And when we all agreed to put cars in there, not one of us said at first, but everybody was like, yeah, I'll put this decent looking car in there. And I put mine in there with dodgy brake calipers, and I knew the diff was all off. But I had a car of my own that was painted identical, so if I'd smash somebody in that car and then they go in the club garage and pull that one out, it weren't the same car, it just had the same paint job. There was that competitive edge and we all had fun playing that. There's lots of us doing that.
Going down that sort of path, it's going to stop people playing their game, basically, a lot of people. Because you're always going to have some friend that plays the game and unlocks every car.
Yep.
So basically all you have to do is just wait for your mate who's unlocked all the cars. Then that's it, done. You don't even play the game yourself. I think it's just a silly way to go.
Yeah, it reeks casual, and like
Well,
15, 16 of the
bothered by
guys.
that? As long as you buy the game, it's probably... They're not going to care if you complete it.
Yeah, there was... Yeah, it did. That was the worst way to sell a game to a racing fan. That was the worst way to open that with. It's just social.
As well? A racing simulator, or is it a...
But the way he was flicking the steering wheel with, it was sort of like it was smack bang in the middle. It looked like what Forza is. When you get Forza out the box now, it's sort of set in the middle of the road between sim and arcade before you turn off all the aids that are on there. Because, I mean, everybody thinks you crash the car more in Forza. If you turn all the aids off on Gran Turismo and Forza, you actually go quicker. It's just harder to drive. And Drive Club, to me, looked like it had a lot of... especially the way the guy was bouncing off the walls as well. I mean, you commented on that.
I was going to say.
There was no control over that vehicle, and it was no damage, and it didn't slow down.
And he was just flying around corners 100 miles an hour, bashing off cars, bashing off the walls, and he wasn't even sliding out or anything. I just think the presentation for that game was all wrong. They should have got someone who was a good driver, first of all, and not someone that's smashing from wall to wall, and they should have presented it a lot better.
Yeah, that was not their crowning glory over there. That did not do well for me whatsoever.
I mean, like I said, I'm not a massive racing fan, and that's not really doing itself any favours to lure me in.
No, definitely not. I mean, we'll jump across here as well. I mean, Metal Gear will be a separate issue. We'll sort of break that one off away from the PlayStation, but a positive game that we all really liked the look of was The Wild, wasn't it, that you briefly mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
That's your cup of tea, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't know if I think we mentioned it a few podcasts back about the BC game that never came out.
Oh, yes.
The dinosaur game. with the caveman. As soon as I seen that game, it just brought back memories of that BC.
The game that never
I
was
was
is
like,
actually
I'm getting
coming.
this. Definitely getting that.
I like the idea of it. If it's sort of like a co-op experience where you're out there building shelters, hunting, gathering, foraging, you know, tending the land, surviving in a tribal incidents and stuff. There hasn't been anything like that I've managed to get my hands on and other various platforms I own for a while. I could be interested in that one. Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely a purchase for me, day one.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I'll jump over before we have a quick chat about what we were playing, was Metal Gear Solid. Those presentations they showed where it had Hideo with his arrow, that did not do anything for me. Now I'll defend this one. I played 2 Metal Gear 2, Guns of the Patriots, and I played the handheld one. I tried playing 3 on the Vita when they had the HD collection. I just couldn't get on with it. But 2 and 4 really enjoyed, really did. And Peace Walker, that was a good game as well. This game, the way they've done it, photo real and everything looks fantastic in the world. What I think, and you said as yourself, was some of the mechanics are jarring. Now I'll go for the box. The stuff you can do with that box just looked a bit ridiculous. I know the cardboard box is a big thing in Metal Gear, but I found that jarring to the experience. If I was playing that,
the AI was just terrible.
Yeah, exactly. They fell for a picture on a box because you were stood up, and it looked like one of their mates. But you can't get too close. I've got bad vision on one eye. If that was 200 meters away from me, I'd be able to see a guy in a box with a picture of yourself on it. I'd know it weren't real. The proximity of where he was to other people,
And then
it didn't wash with me.
no, and then he's going up to the boxes that have women on and standing right next to it and flirting with them. And it's just it was just cringeworthy after a while. That was that game. I mean, I said too on the E3 2013 that game looked amazing when they first showed it off, where he's hiding on the side of the horse and going through the desert. I thought, wow, this looks wicked. But then this presentation just killed it. It really has. I mean, there's a truck sliding off the road because of horse poo.
Yeah, I couldn't get it. See, I missed that because I thought you were winding me up when I came back because I dipped out slightly. Now, I didn't see that, and you were like, the horse just pooed on the road and the van just drove through it and skidded off.
But I was told about it a few times by different people. But the balloons also, one helium balloon or whatever it is, just sending a bloke into the air. I mean, if there's a guy flying around on a balloon in the air, I think everyone's going to see him. So
yeah, you see, they incorporated that in Peace Walker, you see. In Peace Walker, that was how you gathered troops, sort of like the online side of things. At the single player, you did that a lot with downed soldiers that were alive. Now, the problem they had in Peace Walker as well is those balloons worked indoors as well. When you were underground base, if you attached one of them to somebody's waist, they went up in the air, even in a hallway. So, that bit jarring that was. That really let it down for me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just going to be like a new style, a new start for them. I didn't think it was going to be all this cheesy, to be honest.
There's always an element of tongue-in-cheek with Metal Gear. There's always been some whackiness in there and some silliness.
It's all having tongue-in-cheek, but going full whack with what they've done, it just seems silly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
A lot of people in the crowd was booing as well, which just shows you as well that how silly it was.
Even Jeff Keighley, that you're not related to, he was even he said, well, this is a live crowd, they won't hold back what they think. You know, people won't necessarily see the impressive side of it, but I don't know, it might be a good game. If its release date is the start of next year, but I'm sure that's been moved around so many times it's probably changed by now. But coming out around about The Witcher 3, which is definitely a game that's on my radar, I might have to leave it for a short while and come back to that game later. But
The Witcher 3 is definitely day one purchase as well. That game just looks amazing. Every time I see that game, it just looks even better.
Yeah, that's definitely one. I think we'll cover that game in a lot more detail when they give us a lot more information about the actual size, scope, mission basis, how many hours and things. We'll definitely pull that one apart. We'll quickly run through then what we've been playing. But actually, what I'll say before we jump into this, the guys that we have on the show and locked in between us, I'll run this through now. Jack over there, he does PC, Xbox One, and he has the PS4. Myself, I have the Wii U, the PS Vita, Xbox One, and I also play on the 3DS periodically, and I test out all the iPad games as well, and I've got multiple games on all of them. Damien himself, Mr. Xavier Davis, he's the PC Xbox guy. So I'm just going to run through, point that out to people. Between us all, we play everything. You know, but people always question about, oh, you like this machine better over that. I've got my preferences, and I know Keatley's got his preferences. I know Xavier's got his preferences. So, just saying, between us all, we come from an, how can we say this, qualified opinion because we're playing everything. We pass the games between ourselves, we get some stuff early, we have access to everything. We've subscribed to the whole shebang. So just to sort of like stop people from saying, you know, people who sit there on their PC all day and don't touch anything else because of the master race complexion, we have PCs as well, powerful gaming laptops and PCs that we use, but we also use everything else. So just remember that point as well, rather than people jumping down our necks. I mean, I'll start off with this one. I mean, a lot of what I've been playing since we were last on is, I've got my Wii U, I've been playing Mario Kart 8, and I've been playing a lot of Zombie U and Monster Hunter 3. Three very different sort of games, but I've really been enjoying them. Mario Kart is Mario Kart, visually very impressive with a few little quirks in there. Zombie U, I think that was a bit underrated. I've really enjoyed that game. It's got creepy survival horror.
You have to be quiet as well?
Yeah, you can't be making too much noise, and you're creeping around, and there's no save checkpoints. If you die, you're dead, and you wake up as a new character. And you have to, if you find the character of yours that was bitten or eaten, then that's fine. You know, you can kill them and you can get all your stuff back. What was I going to say with the other one? Yeah, Monster Hunter Ultimate 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Monster Hunter Unite on the PSP a while ago. I've been really enjoying that game. It's just standard, go out there.
I haven't played those games since the PlayStation 2. I'd really like to get back into them, but it's just getting in the way at the moment.
The Wii U is, I mean, the next one, Monster Hunter 4, is only coming out on the 3DS. So Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is going to be the last console one for at least 5 years, I believe. So wow. Nintendo's got a deal struck with them, but it's the multiplayer element on the Wii U is strong and solid. Because what you do, you get to a certain point in the story, and then the ship arrives, and then you get on the ship, and then you go to a different town, and when you go there, it's like an MMO hub where you party up with people to do specific missions. Very cleverly done. When you actually, because I've had a couple of times where I find it hard to get on the boat by connecting, but once you're on, it's solid as a rock. There's no problems with it whatsoever. But I don't, like I say, everybody's the Wii U's the worst console in the world. It isn't. It's actually a really good piece of kit.
I think the Wii U's really good.
Yeah.
It's the best console just to sit back and have fun on. Definitely.
It's the least pressure, and some of the games, and they're like all the Mario games that we've got. I mean, I only picked those 3 there, but we've only had the machine a month in our household, and we've got 8 games. We've got all the Mario ones. All those Mario games are amazing and stuff like that. Really solid done. Those guys know what they're doing. And I'll quickly go through one game I've got to mention on my Vita I've been playing, Rogue Legacy. That game is so addictive. You die, you go back to the title screen, then you pick your heir, and then you go back in. But when you go through and you collect gold, when you die, that gold can be spent on the next on your next character's levels and equipment that you've unlocked. But the thing is about the level, with the castle, when you go back in, is every time the castle's different, the layout changes, all the rooms do, so you can't memorise how to get around. And it's, very addictive, very punishing, but a lot of fun to sit back on the sofa and play while the kids run around like crazy watching Peppa Pig. So, yeah, what have you been playing then?
Well, this week's been kind of... I haven't really been playing anything this week, to be honest. I've played Call of Duty Ghosts, a little bit, Extinction. But the week before that I was playing The Last of Us when that came out, which was amazing. Got to say, I'd never played that game before. Playing it for the first time, it kind of lived up to the hype as well. Really did.
Yeah, 'cause you just disappeared for 2 days and came back. I've
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah. I started on a Friday night, had a few hours every day and finished it. It was longer than what I thought as well, to be honest. I thought it was gonna end after like the cannibalism part. No spoilers, actually, saying that. Sorry for the spoiler. If anyone hasn't played it. But yeah, it kind of just carried on going, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's probably that and Tomb Raider are probably my two favourite story-driven games of this next gen
Yeah.
and last gen, shall I say.
I haven't found a story-driven game on this gen yet, which has impressed me. On the current gen. Not old gen, I've got a few. Current gen, I'm still yet to be
Yeah,
worried
I
by
mean-
any writing I've come across.
The Last of Us as well, even it had elements of Tomb Raider in there as well, like the cover system and the shooting and the sneaking a little bit. So it was perfect for any Tomb Raider fans out there.
Yeah.
But if you've never played it before, then highly recommend it. The online was a bit weird though.
Yeah, I've not played the online, so I mean, I don't know.
But those games aren't made for online anyway, really. But yeah, it was you just basically going around trying to nick over people's stuff in a group, and then when you've taken out all people's supplies or you've killed all the enemy, then the game over. But it was a lot like the Tomb Raider game, I thought, which isn't a bad thing. So yeah, like I say, I thought I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So you got anything else on the horizon, or are you just literally counting down to Destiny now?
At the moment, I'm counting down to Destiny, but I'm still on the lookout for a game to play. I don't know which one to get at the moment. I was thinking of Wolfenstein, but I've heard Xavier Davis recommend that a few times, but he said it's only about 9 hours long, which I'm not sure. It's not going to last me till the 9th of September.
See, I'm tempted to probably pick up Diablo 3 and maybe just blast that.
Yeah, I don't like that game for some reason. I just could not get into it at all. I might have to go and play League of Legends again.
Yeah, over on the PC, which you do own. Yeah. No, it's definitely we're in that lull. The summer drought is definitely on, and I think it's been emphasised because of the lack of games that have come out. AAA's for yourself, because we were talking about some of the indie games. I know you're more of a get a AAA game, absolutely hammer it. Whereas I play a lot of the indie games because I do a lot of travelling with my job as well. So I'm on trains, transport all over the place for multiple hours a week. So my Vita does a lot of travelling with me. I mean, Vita games, I checked all my memory cards the other day. I now own 63 games for my Vita that have been downloaded. And it's 3/4 of them have been purchased, and a quarter of those have actually been downloaded from the PSN Plus. So I have a lot of games on there, indie-wise, and that's where I just go. That's my indie machine. My consoles are more where my AAA stuff goes, to be honest.
See, I like the storytelling of games. I just like to sit back and listen to the story. I mean, the indie games for me are more like handheld. If I wanted to play those sort of games, I'd probably play them with a handheld machine.
Yeah, and that's not the area you cover, really, is it? So it's all you get the AAA stuff thrown at you, and we go like, right, go and play that for 500 hours. Well, we'll do 6 or 7 Vita games. So that's kind of like where the position you're in.
And I also had a lot of FIFA friends as well, so I'm usually on that game for a long period of time. So I never really get the chance to play those
dragged into your sport.
Yeah, unwillingly most of the time.
Yeah. But it's all good. Looks like we're going to have plenty to talk about and plenty to play coming up. But I think we'll wrap up our Gamescom opinion show right there. And then hopefully after this, now moving and everything else has settled down, we'll be back to a bit more of a regular schedule as well. So you'll be hearing from us really soon. Yeah, definitely.
And we'll get Xavier Davis back on the show as well.
Yeah, if we can get him out the chicken shop, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so yeah, this has been another episode of Podcast Locked In with myself, David Birch, and my good friend over there, Jack Keatley. You can follow me on Twitter with @RemedyLive. And you can follow the show as well at Podcast Locked In. Keely, what's your Twitter handle again?
Keatley60. It's just the same as my gamer tag. If you're probably better off putting it in the description or something, because it's hard
True.
to.
Everybody be calling you Kitely and never be able to find you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're always. It's always good to come over as well to NoobFeed.com, have a look at the stories. It's some very talented writers over there giving you their opinions and their reviews. We'll be posting as well, not on our usual spot. You'll be able to find us on NoobFeed YouTube channel going forward. So yeah, go over there, give us a listen, like the show. Always helps out with us getting different titles of games and things, so we can come back to you with our opinions on them. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. So
Right.
see you later,
Thank you
everybody.
for having me
Bye
on.
bye. No problem. I had no choice really, did I? So, you know. Alright, cool. See you in a bit, people. Bye bye.